Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 170 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin's expression was strange as he looked down at his bag of holding. The bag also exuded a powerful sword intent along with an arrogant aura that was about to charge out. Little Lin Z, you still not letting your lord Shu out? Fmh. Let me tell you I'm badass now. Shu Ligua's overbearing voice came from the bag. The bag of holding trembled violently as if an force from ancient time was about to charge out. Just at the moment when this force reached a peak, Wang Lin's eyes were calm as he viciously hit the bag of holding. Shu Ligua's overbearing voice immediately weakened. Even the dense sword intent was suppressed and was unable to spread out. Oh! Little Lin Z, you still don't understand the situation. This lord don't blame you. This lord it not the little Shu Ligua I was before. This lord had inherited the ancient sword intent. Before he finished speaking, Wang Lin's hand formed a seal and pointed at the bag. This time Shu Ligua's voice suddenly stopped. Wang Lin frowned and calmly said noisy. His body charged directly toward the wasted planet before him. From far away, this planet was covered in blue. It seemed oceans occupied most of its surface. The vitality coming from it was very strong. Clearly there were a lot of mortals living there. Wang Lin's speed was very fast. He was like a meteor as he charged toward the planet. Because he was moving too fast, an elliptical light cone appeared around him. He pierced through space as he rushed into the planet. The atmosphere of this planet was thin and Wang Lin charged directly through it. When he arrived in the sky above the planet and looked down, he revealed a trace of confusion. This place was far too similar to planet Suzaku. It wasn't a similarity in appearance but the feeling and the aura. Wang Lin's divine sense spread out and scanned the planet. There were cultivators here, but the most powerful cultivator was only at the nascent soul stage. There wasn't even a single soul formation cultivator. He pondered for a bit. He decided to not look for a secret place but chose the highest mountain on the planet. Once he located the mountain, he flew there directly. Yun Peak was the highest peak on planet Ching Lling. Although the spiritual energy here was thin, it had a spectacular view. One could easily see the end of the world from the peak. It was also covered in mist, making it look like a celestial mountain. There were many cultivation families on planet Ching Lling. Their numbers were on par with the amount of mortal nations on this densely populated planet. Almost every mortal country had at least one or two cultivation families. This strange phenomenon had to do with the fact that this planet didn't have enough spiritual energy and had no soul formation cultivators. This Yun Peak belonged to the Jong family, who had the most nascent soul cultivators. Normally, the nascent soul cultivators in the Jong family, whose lifespans were almost up, would come here and enter closed-door cultivation to attempt to comprehend the heavens. Over time, the originally beautiful peak became bare for some unknown reason. Even the wind that came from the mountain became cold. On this day, the Jong family member that had been stuck at the nascent soul stage the longest, the family head, Jong Xinhai, walked out from the mountain with a body filled with death aura. Every cultivator whose life was about to end would go through this cycle. They would sit at the top of the Yun Peak and stare at the sky as their life slowly ran out. He could feel that his body was slowly weakening. His steps were slow and difficult as he walked toward the peak. At the top of the Yun Peak there was a large, stone platform. Just as Jong Xinhai reached the peak, his eyes immediately narrowed. He looked at the person on the platform with his muddy gaze. This was a youth wearing white and his black hair flowed in the wind. His clothes were also being blown by the wind and were making flapping sounds. In Jong Xinhai's eyes, it was as if this person doesn't exist. He couldn't detect anyone there with his divine sense, yet he could clearly see the person with his eyes. This strong contrast made it so that he couldn't help but take a few steps back. There was a trace of shock in his calm expression. The black-haired youth didn't turn around. He looked at the sunset over the horizon and calmly said, "This place is not bad." This simple sentence had no power within it, but when it landed in Jong Xinhai's ears, it suddenly filled his frail body with vigor. It also suppressed his identity as the powerful head of the Jong family. He subconsciously lowered his head and his eyes filled up with terror. This was the effect of an aura. This was something he knew about. When he met even mortal emperors, they would lower their heads due to his own aura. At this moment, this was happening to him. The only explanation was that he was like a mortal to this youth. Unfortunately, such a mountain was used by you guys as a graveyard. The black-haired youth shook his head and waved his right hand. The mountain immediately trembled and the death aura that had gathered here for countless years immediately vanished without a trace. The entire mountain seemed to gain new life, like when someone who had a long-term illness suddenly recovered. The mountain recovered immediately and seemed to be filled with life. Jong was startled as he stared at the scene before him and only recovered after a while. His face was filled with excitement. Without any hesitation, he knelt on the ground and respectfully said, "Junior Jong Xianhai greet Senior. If Senior likes this Hangyun Peak, then Junior will immediately gift it to you." Hangyun Peak. This black-haired youth was Wang Lin. He turned around, looked at Jong and slowly said, "Your lifespan is almost at its end. It would be difficult to change that even with my power." Jong let out a bitter smile and respectfully said, "Senior misunderstood me. Junior understands the will of heavens and does not seek help. To be able to meet a powerful cultivator like Senior before dying leaves Junior with no regrets. Not to mention this mountain, I'll even gift Senior this planet, Ching Lling, if Senior wants it." Wang Lin turned around and his right hand sent a ray of spiritual energy to the spot between Jong brows. He gently said, "I can't change your life, but burning your own spiritual energy to extend your life by 10 years is something I can do." When he sent out that ray of spiritual energy, Wang Lin let out a sigh. This spell was something he could just barely use after seeing the third step. If he knew about this before, then Li Muwen wouldn't be taking shelter inside the heaven-defying bead. When the spell landed between Jong eyebrows, his body trembled and he immediately felt vitality coming from the spiritual energy in his body. His face became red as he took a deep breath. He looked at Wang Lin and respectfully said, "Thank you, Senior. If Senior has any commands, Junior will do his best to carry them out." Someone who had become the Jong family's head was not stupid. No one in this world would do this for nothing. When he heard Wang Lin say that this mountain was good, he immediately gifted the mountain without any hesitation. For someone with Wang Lin's kind of cultivation to say that, it was already very merciful. Those that had bad tempers would just occupy it directly. If they became unhappy, it would be too easy for them to slaughter a few small cultivation families like theirs. Jong guessed that this person was not from planet Ching Lling and must have come from outside. To be able to step into space meant that this person was at least at the soul transformation stage or above. Wang Lin calmly looked at Jong and calmly said, "I'll give you 10 years of time to collect as much resentment from the mortal world as possible. The more the better. If I'm pleased with your result, then as long as this planet has me, your Jong family will never be extinguished. Go now." Wang Lin waved his big sleeves. Jong only felt a gust of wind. Before him was only thick fog and wind filled his ears. When he regained his vision, he was already at the foot of the mountain. The scene from before felt like a dream to him. He touched the spot between his eyebrows, felt the dense vitality in his body, and took a deep breath. His eyes were filled with excitement as he bowed toward the mountain and quickly left. "I must do my best to complete Senior's requests." Jong turned into a ray of light as he charged toward the Jong family's home. After sending away Jong Wang Lin pondered a bit before taking out the 1 billion soul flag. He gently stabbed the 30-foot-tall flag into the mountain. The flag was opened by the wind and the soul fragments flew out, surrounding the entire peak. The 3 primary souls came out and surrounded the area. The entire mountain was immediately covered by a dense, black fog. Wang Lin waved his right hand backwards and a powerful force shot out toward the mountain. There were sounds of explosions as a large cave appeared in the mountain. The door to the cave was at the top of the mountain, surrounded by rocks. It looked very majestic. Wang Lin's right finger pointed out and a celestial spell shot out and imprinted on the door. The presence of the celestial spell created a powerful pressure. After doing all of this, Wang Lin sat down and his divine sense spread across planet Ching Lling once more. This time he wasn't searching, he was sending out a message. From today onward, this is my cultivation planet. The area 5,000 kilometers around Hengyun Peak is a forbidden zone. Any trespasser will not be shown mercy. Wang Lin's divine sense was like thunder as it echoed across the planet. His voice entered the ears of every cultivator, causing their expressions to change greatly. However, not a single one of them dared to resist. A spell that could spread across the entire planet shocked their hearts and also made them feel like it was something inconceivable. From this day onward, planet Ching Lling had an owner, and that owner was Wang Lin. Wang Lin was the peak existence on planet Ching Lling. He was just like the blood ancestor, who had the right to control life and death on the blood planet. And also like the All-Seer's supreme identity on planet Tianyun. 5 years passed by in a flash. All of the cultivators on planet Ching Lling, no matter what cultivation level, were busy during these 5 years. Jong considered for a long time and decided to not conceal Wang Lin's request. He spread Wang Lin's request so every cultivation family knew of it. However, the Jong family gained the identity of Wang Lin's messengers. During these 5 years of time, these cultivators traveled among the mortals and constantly collected their resentment. This aura existed on almost every mortal, the only difference was the amount. There were simply too many mortals on planet Ching Lling. In 5 years of time, less than 40% was collected. Seeing that half the time had passed, Jong became anxious. However, right now was already the fastest they could go. Even he himself had gone out to collect from the mortal world. Everyone in the family that had at least reached the 5th layer of qi condensation were sent out. During these 5 years of time, Wang Lin sat on top of the mountain refining his treasures. What he refined was the mountain and river screen inside his origin soul. It was seriously damaged. Inside Wang Lin's origin soul, thunder was fused into it to help repair it. In addition, there was the celestial mountain. Due to the crack, soul extraction had become unstable. Wang Lin used his origin soul's energy to slowly refine and repair it. As for the crown fused with red butterfly's blue rose, Wang Lin had studied it for a long time but was unable to see through it. These 3 treasures were things he had just obtained. While refining them, Wang Lin took some time and combined them with what he saw from the path to the 3rd step. He took out some ordinary magical treasures from his bag. One was the Soul Lasher. This whip had followed Wang Lin for a long time, and its power had obvious advantages and disadvantages. Before, Wang Lin didn't see it as important, but right now he cared about it a lot. Wang Lin looked at the Soul Lasher in his hand and muttered, "Out of all my treasures, in terms of intelligence, it can't compare to the Celestial Sword or the Half-Moon Blade. In term of defense, it can't compare to the 1 billion soul flag or the mountain and river screen. In term of abilities, it can't compare to the celestial mountain or the god-slaying war chariot. But this is the only treasure that contains the aura of the 3rd step I saw. This thing is indeed very strange. This whip looked very normal, but the heavenly ghost almost lost its wit when it saw this whip. It was as if it recognized it. Extracting origin souls is in line with the source of Tao. It can also be considered karma, with the body being karmic cause and origin soul being karmic effect. This is a treasure that was refined on the latter part of the karma Tao. Wang Lin's eyes shined as he pondered. His domain had gradually transformed from the life and death domain to the karma domain. This domain was simply too large. Wang Lin had only touched the tip of the iceberg, but he could already feel how majestic it was. My current comprehension of the karma domain isn't enough to create something real, like the underworld river. However, after seeing the path to the 3rd step, I gained some understanding. As Wang Lin's right hand rubbed the Soul Lasher, his eyes shined brighter and brighter. He thought of a way to use the power of materialized karma domain before he could actually make it materialize. This was to make sure that he was adequately prepared for this trip to the Thunder Celestial Realm. Using the Soul Lasher to help condense the karma domain should work. As Wang Lin pondered, he made a decision. If it was someone else, they would be afraid and would hesitate for a long time and would ultimately be unable to make a decision. This was because they didn't know if this choice was correct or whether it would interfere with comprehending their existence. However, Wang Lin was different, as he had clearly seen the path ahead. He knew that at most this would affect his domain a bit, but it wouldn't be anything big. After pondering for a bit, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he picked up the soul lasher. "I'll make you the implementation of my domain." Wang Lin's eyes released a strange light and he placed the whip in his lap. He then closed his eyes and began to carefully refine it. His mind had to be connected to the treasure so that the domain could slowly enter it. Time often passed without leaving a trace. Spring passed and autumn came. In a flash, another 3 years went by. Wang Lin had lived on this planet Ching Lling for 8 years. During these 8 years, he had never left the mountain. In fact, aside from Jong no other cultivator on the planet had seen him. However, the owner of planet Ching Lling, the ancestor of planet Ching Lling, began to weigh heavier and heavier in the cultivators' hearts. In particular, that thick, black fog surrounding the mountain had caused many cultivators' hearts to turn cold. However, there were some cultivators who had cultivated stupidity. They would charge in to provoke might of this so-called master of planet Ching Lling. All of them were immediately devoured by the black fog as soon as they rushed in. The only thing that remained were the mournful screams that echoed across the world as if they were warning the cultivators to not enter. As for mortals, they weren't so troublesome. When they saw the black fog, they knew that it was filled with danger, so none of them entered this place. If they entered because they were lost, Wang Lin wouldn't commit pointless murder. The soul flag contained Wang Lin's will. These mortals would go into a coma and would be sent to the edge of the region. During these 3 years, Wang Lin focused on refining his treasures. The only noisy thing was Shu Ligua. He had somehow broken the seal that Wang Lin placed on the bag of holding. Although he still wasn't able to come out, he always clamored non-stop. On this day, the soul lasher in Wang Lin's lap had some karma domain infused into it. This made it easier to control than with divine sense. At the same time, with the fusion of the latter part of the karma domain, the soul lasher was even more powerful. However, at this moment, the strange voice appeared once more. "Little Lin, do you dare to let out your grandpa Shu? I'm powerful now, so you don't dare to release me anymore. Rest assured, this old man will not act against you. I have thought about it, and from now on, you will follow me. Our identities will change and I'll be the master." Shu Ligua's arrogant voice was extremely overbearing. Wang Ling frowned. If it wasn't for the fact that he knew that he was short on time to deal with Shu Ligua, he would have already taught Shu Ligua a lesson. Not only did Shu Ligua not understand this, he had grown even more presumptuous. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. He slapped his bag of holding and coldly said, "Get out here." "Oh, you dare to talk like that to your grandpa Shu? Little Lin, you don't seem to understand the situation. I'm no longer the old Shu Ligua." Shu Ligua's voice came out and a black mist came out with him. This black mist was filled with sword energy and immediately charged out. In midair, the mist formed Shu Ligua's appearance. Just as he appeared, he immediately laughed loudly and roared, "Even I, Shu Ligua, will have my day. The heavens aren't blind, I'll finally be able to raise my head up high." Wang Lin coldly looked at Shu Ligua and didn't speak. Shu Ligua finished speaking and looked at Wang Lin, revealing a fierce gaze. At this moment, he returned to his arrogant appearance. His whole body shrank and suddenly formed a large sword in midair. This sword looked exactly like the celestial sword. As it charged, a powerful sword energy shot out. This sword energy also contained an ancient sword intent. It was extremely shocking. He charged straight at Wang Lin as if he could break through the void and closed in an instant. Wang Lin's eyes were still cold. When Shu Ligua closed in, Wang Lin didn't move, but the soul lasher on his lap moved and flew into the air. A mysterious aura spread out and immediately surrounded a 1,000-foot area. This aura contained an unimaginable force that made it seem as if this 1,000-foot area was separated from the outside and was filled with a majesty powerful enough to make someone collapse. Shu Ligua felt it most clearly. He exclaimed and the big sword he formed became unstable. However, the big sword suddenly released even more sword energy. He was obviously going to resist by force. At this moment, Wang Lin's voice slowly echoed. It is difficult for the things in this world to escape karma. There is no place without karmic cause, and karmic effect is everywhere. The soul lasher flickered and created an explosion as if it had opened the doors of fate. The soul lasher connected end to end, forming a circle. Shu Ligua's large sword involuntarily fell into the circle and quickly disintegrated. Karmic effect is the source of all karmic cause. Wang Lin's voice sounded again. The disintegration of the large sword happened in almost an instant, and it reverted back into the black fog. Shu Ligua's face appeared in the black fog. His face was filled with terror and his eyes were filled with fear. Master, I was wrong. Little Shu was wrong, really wrong this time. Spare me once, please spare me this time. Shu Ligua immediately began to plead. His voice was extremely miserable. Wang Lin's eyes were cold as he looked at Shu Ligua. Shu Ligua's black mist was rapidly disintegrating inside the circle as Wang Lin calmly said, "You obtained the ancient sword intent because of me, so the fruit of that also belongs to me." Shu Ligua was shocked to find that the black fog that formed his body started dissipating even faster. A sense of crisis immediately emerged from him, causing him to lose his wit. He immediately begged, "Master, I know I was wrong, and I will never dare to rebel again. Besides, it was you who turned me into a devil. If you hadn't, I wouldn't be here today. Isn't that right, Master? Isn't that karma?" Shu Ligua was very anxious as he spoke. He could feel that he was about to completely disintegrate. The regret in his heart had already filled his body. "I should have never provoked this fiend. Over these countless years, I have never succeeded once." Shu Ligua, Shu Ligua, how could your memory be this bad? This old Wang devil is more of a devil than me. Shu Ligua wished he could give himself a slap. Wang Lin revealed a faint smile and said, "That is your karma, not mine." The circle formed by the soul lasher loosened. It then turned into a ray of light and disappeared. After the domain fused with it, it no longer had a physical form. It became like one's domain, something that couldn't be seen but could still be felt. Shu Ligua, who almost collapsed, immediately backed up a few steps. The terror in his eyes was still very strong. He had lost all the arrogance from before and his face was filled with flattery. He quickly said, "Master's spell is indeed fierce. In fact, little Shu only did this in order to let Master get more practice. In fact, little Zu's loyalty to Master is sky high without a thought of rebellion." Wang Lin looked at Shu Ligua and calmly said, "Since you can come out, there is no need to go back into the bag of holding. You can stay within 5,000 kilometers of this mountain. Go comprehend your ancient sword intent." Shu Ligua was startled. He didn't expect this old field to be this easygoing. His eyes turned and quickly said, "Master, Shu Ligua is reluctant to leave you. I only feel steadfast when I'm near you." As he spoke, he carefully looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression remained the same and he nodded. "Since that is the case, then stay here." Shu Ligua revealed a smile, but his heart felt bitter. Would this fiend really let me roam freely within 5,000 kilometers? This isn't right. This doesn't match this fiend's personality. There must be some trick. It is lucky that I, Shu Ligua, am smart, or else I might have suffered more. Shu Ligua felt very proud as he thought about this. He quickly took form and sat down. After a while, he was a bit disturbed. He would occasionally look at Wang Lin to try to find some clues. Wang Lin stopped paying attention to Shu Ligua and slapped his bag of holding. The mosquito and the thunder toad immediately appeared. The mosquito lied comfortably on the thunder toad's back. After it appeared, it let out a cry toward Wang Lin, but it remained laying on the thunder toad's back as if it wasn't willing to leave no matter what. After they appeared, the other mosquito beasts followed them. Although they were still considered to be in their larvae state and not grown up yet, they all still appeared very ferocious. As for the thunder toad, it seemed to be used to the despicable mosquito beast on its back. After it appeared, its belly expanded and it found a location on the side and seemed to have gone to sleep. Shortly after, the god-slaying war chariot appeared and turned into the thunder beast. As soon as it appeared, it saw the thunder toad and began to roar. Thunder toad's originally lazy appearance suddenly disappeared. Its eyes were wide open and it stared at the thunder beast with its belly expanding. The mosquito beast was also full of spirit as it looked at the thunder beast with interest. Shu Ligua was on the side, and his eyes opened wide. He carefully looked at the thunder beast and thought, "Master is really master. It hasn't been long, but now there is another dumb beast. Fight, it's best if you all fight. Then you will all know that I have been with master the longest. However, I have to say that master really does have luck with beasts. I, old Shu, am very humble and only have luck with beauties." Shu Ligua's expression entered a trance as he thought about the little beauty in the demon spirit land. Alas, since ancient times, sentiments lead to regret. This is a truth that old fiend Wang can't understand. Shu Ligua felt quite regretful. He looked at the thunder beast, thunder toad, and mosquitoes before looking at Wang Lin. He felt a sense of loneliness and pride. The refining of treasures continued, but at this time this was not the focus as time was limited. Wang Lin decided to use what he saw of the third step and adjust his spells. He began to ponder. Among the spells he controlled, the most powerful spell he could use was the Heavenly Chop. However, before he broken through the first step of cultivation and enter the illusory yin stage, it would consume his precious origin energy. After that was the stop spell. This spell wasn't any weaker than the Heavenly Chop. If used at the right moment, it would play a decisive role. Aside from those three spells, there were the Finger of Death, Demonic Finger, and Underworld Finger. There were also the three abilities of the Underworld River. Dao Form's Underworld River, Formation of River Soul, and Power of the Underworld River. What he needed to adjust were the three fingers. If he continued to use them, then it would harm him greatly on his path toward the third step. These three spells were not complete and would cause his body harm. As for why they would be harmful to his path to the third step, Wang Lin didn't know, but he had a feeling. As he pondered, he flicked his finger and used all three spells to gain some insight. The spells came out one after another. He gradually increased the speed of the spells and kept casting them one after the other. Wang Lin frowned as he used the vague feeling in his mind to look for clues and gradually improve the spells. This process was extremely tiresome, so it didn't take long before he felt tired. After resting for a short while, Wang Lin began once more. The wheel of time moved once more and 2 more years passed. During these 2 years, Wang Lin spent most of his time focusing on refining the spells. However, in the end he wasn't able to achieve satisfactory results. Wang Lin understood that he was too impatient. However, he didn't give up and did his best to slowly improve his spells. If someone at the second step saw this, they would be shocked. This kind of improvement was the same as deducing the original celestial spell from the current spell. Not to mention for him, this was something very difficult for even people like the All-Seer. During the 2 years of time, the Thunder Toad and Thunder Beast were very hostile to each other, but they didn't fight. The Thunder Toad was too weak and the Thunder Beast felt disdain even though it felt that the Thunder Toad could potentially pose a threat in the future. As for the Mosquito Beast, its interest shifted from the Thunder Toad to the Thunder Beast. It flew around the Thunder Beast as if it wanted to lie on the Thunder Beast's back. However, every time it tired, it wasn't successful, but that only made it more interested. Shu Ligua felt disdain toward all of this. As time passed, he noticed that Wang Lin had completely forgotten about them. After considering it carefully, he went 1,000 feet away from Wang Lin and cheerfully roamed the mountain. However, he did remember Wang Lin's words and didn't dare to go more than 5,000 kilometers from here. He gradually became bored as there wasn't a single person within the 5,000-kilometer area. People tend to stay far away from this area, which made Shu Ligua very depressed. About 1.5 years ago, there were some cultivators outside that were originally afraid to come in. He ended up using spells to trick them into entering. After playing around with them, he released them. However, from then onward, no more cultivators dared to come. Even many years later, whenever those cultivators thought about what had happened to them, their hearts would turn colder. On this day, he was extremely bored while flying around the area, hoping for some mortals to enter. He suddenly shivered and an excitement that he hadn't felt for a long time immediately filled his body. Shu Ligua's eyes glowed as he stared at the fog and began shouting excitedly. Someone finally came. Zhong Xinhai appeared outside the fog with a tired face and his body was filled with death aura. Beside him was a very tense middle-aged man. This person was wearing black robes and his cultivation level was also at the peak of the nascent soul stage. The middle-aged man looked rather warily at the black fog in the distance and whispered, "Dad, do we really have to go?" Zhong Xinhai said, in a serious tone, "Of course we have to. Your father's lifespan is about to be over. Aside from completing Senior's request, this trip is to also introduce you to Senior as my successor. Once I die, you will replace me and act as the messenger for Senior to ensure the existence of our Jong family forever." The middle-aged man hesitated and said, "But Dad, I heard from some friends that this Senior has some quirks. More than a year ago, a few friends were." Before he could finish, Zhong Xinhai stared at him and the middle-aged man immediately shut up. Shu Ligua was like a ghost as he quickly approached the area. He was hiding in the black fog, so the Zhong father and son didn't notice him. Shu Ligua's face was filled with excitement as he looked at the father and son and muttered, Yes, that old one is dying and won't be able to withstand me playing around. Your grandpa Shu will be nice and let your body go. As for the little one, hihi." The excitement in Shu Ligua's eyes became stronger and stronger as he looked at the middle-aged man from the fog. There was even a trace of depravity in his eyes. He let out a dry cough and spoke in an upright tone, "Who is it? State your name." Zhong Xinhai took a deep breath. He stopped 5,000 kilometers away from the mountain and didn't enter. Instead, he clasped his hands and respectfully said, "Junior Zhong Xinhai has completed Senior's request and requests to meet Senior." His voice was hoarse as it slowly entered the black fog. Shu Ligua's eyes turned and he said, "The old one can come in. I'll take you to meet my master." Zhong Xinhai was startled and hesitated for a bit before stepping into the black fog. The moment he entered, he felt a wind wrap around him and his body was rapidly sent forward. Shortly after, he arrived at the peak and the wind dissipated. He immediately saw Wang Lin and respectfully said, "Senior, Junior didn't disappoint you," and gathered all the resentment on planet Ching Lling. As he spoke, he took out the jades, 1,000 in total. He placed them all on the ground and respectfully took a few steps back. After Shu Ligua sent away Zhong Xinhai, he excitedly returned back to the edge of the fog. He looked at the middle-aged man outside and said, "Little brat, come in, don't be afraid. Your grandpa Shu will give you some benefits." When he saw that the middle-aged man was still hesitating, he immediately shouted, "Why haven't you come in?" The middle-aged man clenched his teeth and stepped into the black fog. Wang Lin opened his eyes and scanned the jades. He immediately felt the resentment inside them. There was an alarming amount of resentment, as if there was a storm of resentful aura. Wang Lin slowly said, "Very good. The person you brought will be my messenger outside of Hengyun Peak in the future." After pondering for a bit, he took out a pill and threw it at Zhong Xinhai. "Give it to your son. If he is gifted enough, perhaps he can rely on the aura inside the pill and gain a slightly higher chance to reach the soul formation stage." Zhong Xinhai's face was filled with ecstasy. He quick took the pill and put it away like a treasure. Then he emotionally said, "Thank you, Senior." Wang Lin commanded, "This resentment is an illusionary thing, and it will regenerate. In the future, your Zhong family will be in charge of collecting it every few years." Then he took out a few red seeds and gave them to Zhong Xinhai. "These are called celestial ascension fruits. Get people to planet them and speed up their growth with spiritual energy. Over the next 10 years, plant as many as possible." Zhong Xinhai quickly nodded. Wang Lin had gotten those seeds from Chen Kui's bag of holding. Zhong Xinhai and his son left the Hengyun Peak. However, the son seemed to be in a trance, giving off a strange expression and even a trace of savoring. As for Shu Ligua, he was grounded by Wang Lin. If it wasn't for the fact that what Shu Ligua did wasn't too bad, Wang Lin would have directly refined Shu Ligua. After being grounded to be within 1,000 feet of Wang Lin, Shu Ligua had an expression like he was wronged. He no longer dared to sneak out. All he did was look into the distance all day and sigh in his heart. "I was just taking over their physical bodies and then enjoying the feeling of having flesh. How big of a thing can it be? Alas. Wang Lin didn't have time to pay attention to Shu Ligua. After grounding Shu Ligua, he once again focused on perfecting his spells. During that time, he slowly absorbed the resentment into his underworld river. After absorbing the resentment, the underworld river was different from before. After absorbing the resentment, the soul of the underworld river gradually took shape. Time quickly passed. The improvement of the spells cost Wang Lin too much energy. Although he still wasn't successful, the constant improvement allowed him to continue comprehending the direction of the third step, so Wang Lin's domain was gradually becoming stronger. Finally, on his 18th year on planet Ching Lling, his life and death domain reached completion without any flaws. This meant that once he had enough celestial spiritual energy, he would truly be at the peak of the first step. Wang Lin still had some celestial jades, but he didn't know if he had enough. Even if it wasn't enough, Wang Lin could still drink the celestial liquid. This time he had to reach the peak of the late stage of ascendant and reach the peak of the first step of cultivation. The first step of cultivation, Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly. When I reached the ascendant stage, ancient demon Bei Luo said that heaven-defying cultivators would attract divine retribution. I wonder if divine retribution will arrive once more when I break through the first step and enter the illusory yin stage. Wang Lin looked up at the sky and his eyes turned cold. This video will end here.